Hi, everyone. My name is DEVINENI, and I'm with VELEZ Jr. We're here in New York City, and we'll be running this workshop today.
大家好，我是 Ram，然后很高兴今天来到这儿。然后呢，我们会来今天进行一个工作坊。
As this workshop will be in both English and Chinese Mandarin, we have our translator who will translate for us, and we'll take it slow so that if there's any issues, she can address them.
今天的这个工作坊呢是中英文夹杂的，然后就由我来为大家翻译，所以呢语速可能会尽量的慢一点。
I want to thank the Chinese Women's Film Festival, the Batura Film Festival, for co-sponsoring this, and also the United States Consulate General in Shanghai for co-sponsoring this.
非常感谢在上海的驻美领馆，然后以及中国女人文化节等等一起来进行了这个工作坊。
This workshop is being recorded, so we can post it on YouTube, and people who could not attend will be able to see it later.
今天的工作坊呢会被录制下来，然后我们会把它发到 YouTube 上。那么没有到场的人也可以看这个重播。
Well, let me start introducing myself. My name is DEVINENI, and this is VELEZ. This is some of our comics that we've created.
首先我叫 Ram， 然后呢，这是我所创作的相关的一些漫画。
And today's session is going to focus on creating stories, how to write a comic book script, and also how to do character design and how to do the layout.
今天的主题主要是讲述我们如何创作漫画故事，如何写漫画的那些语言稿子，以及如何去做相关的设计。
So I'm going to play video. Can Harper, can people hear that? Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, but not the video.
Okay, let me just share that 1 second.
Yeah. 我们准备要放一则视频来介绍一下，大家可以留意。
Well, actually, you don't need to hear it. There's nothing being said. So this video is my process of how I create the comic books. And there's no audio, it's just music anyway, so it's not a big deal. Okay?
这则视频会展示说 Ram 他是如何来创作漫画的。
So I am the creator of India's first female superhero. Her name is Priya.
哦，所以我就是印度第一个女英雄这个漫画角色的创作者。
And but I'm going to talk about all the different kind of comic books and comic styles out there.
但我今天讲的就不仅局限于此，我会谈到所有不同种类的漫画以及漫画风格。
And one of the most popular comic book styles that you see in newspapers in almost every country are comic strips.
那么最受欢迎或者说最普遍的一种，就是我们现在 PPT 上展示的，它叫做漫画条。
Another popular comic style originating from Japan is manga, which are basically long dramas, very simple drawings, almost a book length, and they're like basically teenage dramas.
那么另一种比较受欢迎的是日本的，叫做 manga， 它是一种非常长的一种形式，它很简单，大部分呢是讲述一些青年的戏剧漫画等等的。
Another style it's called fumetti, which uses either photographs or film stills and adds dialogue to them and turns them into comic books.
另一种呢，这种形式叫 fumetti， 那它的不同就在于呢，它用的呢既不是说照片的形式，也不是说像影片一样的，而是它更重于去用对话来展示漫画的内容。
Of course, the most popular style of comic books in the world are superhero comics.
当然了，就是最受欢迎的，在全球都广泛的、很普遍的，有很多粉丝的一种漫画方式，就是我们的超级英雄。
And also growing bigger, and what we will talk a little bit about, are social service comics. These are comics that deal with social issues and help not only to entertain, but also to educate people.
那么我们待会会讲到的呢，是以服务社会为目的的一种漫画，它的作用不仅仅是说娱乐大众，更多的在于教化大众。
The two that Ivan drew here, the one on the left is talking about depression.
看我们的 PPT 上就有2款这种以为社会服务为核心的漫画，左边的呢就是讲述一种关于抑郁症的东西。
There's also biography comics, which tells stories about important historical figures. In this case, it's about the South African singer Brenda Fassie, who fought against apartheid in South Africa.
同时呢，就是这种关于人物传记式的，它会讲述一个人的生活和他一些关于性别的问题。
And oops, sorry. Now, this is another kind of comic book style. As you can see, you don't have to be a gifted illustrator to make comics.
同时你看看屏幕上，这也是另外一种漫画风格。意思就是说，你写漫画的话，你不用一定是一个很有天赋的插画师，你才能去创作漫画。
Now, this is a stick comic book series.
这是一系列的，这是一个漫画系列来的。
Stacy, Harper, maybe you can help me with the translation. What you see on the first panel is the character being introduced. And the character says, "Hey, everybody."
哦，我们来讲讲这则漫画。可以看到左边的第一个框框，它就是一个人物站在中间，然后在自我介绍说：“哎，大家好啊。”
And in the first panel is the introduction of the character and the situation they're in.
中间的是说“嗨，大家好”，左边的呢，它就是讲述了说这个漫画的这个人物和他的背景，以及他处在哪个地方。
And in the second panel is he's saying it's been snowing.
在中间他就在说：“哎，这里在下雪。”
Now, the second panel is the introduction of the conflict or the problems that they face.
那么这里在下雪呢，它其实是在介绍说，现在面临了什么样的一个故事核心和故事问题。
And in the third panel, the character is saying, which makes a nice change for my normal white background.
那么第二个呢，就是说，它里面就像里面文字说的，它其实是以文字的形式来叙述了这个故事，说，这个地方发生了一个什么样的好的改变。
Which is the third panel is the resolution or how the character deals with the problem.
第三个框架，他说的是，我们这个角色他采用了什么样的方法来解决这个问题。
Now, the reason I show this very silly, this comic strip is because this shows the three structures of storytelling.
我为什么要展示这一个看上去比较简单啊，甚至透露着一些好笑的这个漫画条呢？就是因为它其实就实际上很浅显易懂的展示了我们整一个漫画故事的创作以及漫画故事它的不同结构。
So here are some basic guidelines that I suggest when writing a comic book.
那么我这则 PPT 上呢，就是我自己认为的一些我们创作漫画的基本原则。
One, you really have to get a great story set. You have to have a good story.
第一，你一定要有个很好的故事。
Number two, when you're drawing the comic, you have to have a uniform style between all the pages and the characters.
第二就是说，你的整个漫画创作，你这一系列的漫画，它最好是有一个统一的风格的。
Number three, the characters are defined with very few lines. You want to make the characters interesting, but also very minimal so you can be consistent.
第三点就是说，你的这些角色最好是通过短短的几行字，你就能给它定义一下，就是有一个基础的人设。
But it's important that the personalities of the characters come out.
但同时，虽然说你仅用几行字来定义它，但是你要在之后的故事叙事中展现他个人的风格、个人性格跟特色。
Now, the first panel or the first part of the comic book defines the character and the environment.
一般来说，我们故事啊、漫画的第一部分，最好是能够直接介绍主角特色跟他身处的环境。
The middle panel goes, or the middle part of the book goes into the issues and the stories and conflict.
那么我们在整个漫画第二部分，我们就开始来展开叙述主角团他遇到了什么问题，以及开展你想表达的故事。
And the last panel, and the last panel goes into how the character or how they will or will not deal with those problems.
那么最后一部分，我们才是来说我们的角色他想要怎么做来解决这个问题。
Now, I'm going to explain this more further and also give you an idea of how to write the comic book script using this example from a teenager who drew this comic in high school in New York City.
那么接下来我就会通过各种细节来讲述说我们怎么把这些原则运用到我们的漫画创作中，然后我会以美国高中生写漫画的遇到的一些问题来展开叙述。
Now, writing a comic book script, the things you have to ask yourself is what will each panel tell us? How will the panels connect the entire story? And if it's a personal story, those are often the best and easier to write. Harper, if you want to just read this, it's in translate up here. I just read what
OK. 那么我们第一个就是你最好呢是有一个稿子，为了你的漫画书做一个稿子，你的每一个部分，你的每一个文章结构，你想要告诉读者什么？那么它的每一个部分又是怎么结合起来连贯讲一个完整的故事呢？如果说你有一个你个人的故事，他们最好是说，是能很好的叙述出来的，你不要把事情搞得太复杂。
If possible, text should be reduced or used sparingly. Let the visuals tell most of the story.
就是我们在做漫画的时候，你尽可能的少用文字，或者说谨慎的来使用文字，让画面和语言，就是让画面来展示你的内容。
When writing the script, don't go into details. Let the reader imagine between the panels. Remember, there can be jump cuts between stories.
在你写这个大概的稿子的时候啊，你不要就是说，当你写文字上去的时候，你不要在文字上做太多的细节描写，它毕竟不是篇作文，而是一篇漫画。你要让读者，让我们这些观众去想象说每一个框架之间发生了什么故事，留下想象的空间。它可以有一些跳跃剪辑在，就是你的画面跟画面不用说像电影一样十分的连贯。
And remember, comic book scripts are very similar to film scripts. They use something called storyboards.
可以想象说，其实我们漫画的这种稿子啊，它很像电影，就是说你要做梗概，而不是说做细节描写。
All right, so let's go into the script. The comic book script, the first panel, as you can see on the screen, is the introduction of the character. The character is named Jade. She's sitting in a room and looking at her mirror, and she's very depressed. Harper, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. 我们现在看到的就是我们一个漫画的第一部分。我们看到我们 PPT 的左边，她是一个女主角叫 Jade， 然后她正在她的卧室里面看一面镜子。
Okay, and what you notice at the bottom is the caption. This is a description about her, and that goes, it's not a voice bubble or a thought bubble, it's a caption.
那我们可以看到最底端有几行文字描写，就是来描述我们她自己的。
And in panel 2, we get a point of view, and I'm using film terms. So the point of view is what Jade is seeing, and what Jade sees are beautiful magazines of beautiful people.
那么我们的第二个框呢，是我们从 Jade 她的这个视角来描写的，就是她展示的是 Jade 她本人，她看到的是什么东西。
And in the voice bubble, and that's one of the techniques you can use, is a voice bubble is what Jade is saying. And she's saying, I wish I could look like her.
那么其中就展示了一种漫画技巧，就是用气泡。 看到没有？在右边的框架的上半部分下面有2行字，写着说：我多希望我能跟他一样。就是说，他用这个技巧来讲述了说我们主角 Jade 他心里在想什么，他又说了什么。
And in the middle panel, what you're now seeing is the problems she's facing and how she's going to resolve them.
那么我们在最下面，要留意啊，现在的这张 PPT 它是我们故事的中间部分的框架。那么在最下面，我们就提到了说，我们的主角他遇到了什么样的问题，他又打算怎么去解决它。
Panel 3, we have a medium shot. That again is another film term. And in the caption, she says, I had to learn how to love myself, my brown skin and hairy arms.
那么我们到了框架3，它就是写着，我希望我可以学会怎么去爱我自己，爱我棕色的皮肤跟我毛茸茸的手臂。
Panel 4, Jade is pinching her nose, and that's a very unique thing you want to draw that really captures her personality.
那么在第4个框架，它就是画出来的是Jade他正在捏他的鼻子，然后其实这个动作就能展示出这个主角他自己的个人性格了。
And the caption says, I still struggle accepting my nose. I wax my brows and shave my legs and try to fit in as much as possible.
他这行文字写的就是我仍旧很难去接受我的鼻子它长什么样，我把我的额头的毛都剃掉了，我把我的脚啊、我的腿都剃干净了，我很努力的去成为大众希望我成为的样子。
For your first comic, I always suggest writing a personal story because you know yourself and you know your personality and it becomes easier to write.
对于所有人呢，我是建议第一部漫画是写你自己，因为你很了解你自己，你很懂你的个人性格，你的个人故事，这就会很简单。
Now, if you don't want to write about yourself and you want to write about someone else or something else, then I suggest you write a backstory or a short biography of who that person is, because you really want to understand your character before you write the script and before you draw.
那么如果你不想写你自己的故事呢，那我建议在你创作一个角色的时候，你写个人物小传，就是你把他的背景故事写出来，就做到真正的去理解这个人物，了解他的故事跟他的个人性格。
Okay, so panel 5 is you now have different fashion magazines and a beautiful singer on TV.
那么我们的第5个框架，他写的内容，他画的内容就是有很多不同的时尚杂志，以及一个漂亮的女歌手在电视上。
And in the caption it says, if only people showed all races are beautiful, if only we had more representation in media.
它下面呢底层的文字写的就是说，如果人们可以展现出不同种族的人都是美丽的就好了。如果我们在社交平台上，我们在媒体上有更多的代表就好了，就是美貌的代表。
And then the final panel, panel 6, is how Jade deals with the problems she faces. And in this case, she doesn't deal with it. She becomes more depressed.
在我们第6个框架里面，它描述的就是我们的主角 Jade 他是如何解决这个问题的。但实际上你可以看到，他并没有解决这个问题，而是变得更加沮丧了。
Now, this caption says, then thousands of girls, including me, wouldn't have hated the color of their skin.
它下面的文字写的是说，如果这样的话， 那无数的女孩，包括我在内，都不会憎恨我们自己本身的颜色了。
So a script is like a map of how the pages are told or how they will be told when they're drawn.
所以说，在漫画中，它的一些文字稿啊，其实是就像是地图一样，能够显示说整个故事的走向是怎么样的。
So I'm going to hand this over to Ivan, who is going to go into character design and laying out the comic book. And at the very end, we'll take questions. Okay, that's okay. All right.
Okay.
Ivan, let me just share.
接下来就由 Ivan 来继续讲述，到最后呢，会有一个提问的环节。
Thank you. How you doing, folks?
Making you host. 1 second, I'm going to make you host now.
Sure. Got it?
Mhm.
Okay. So my name is Ivan VELEZ. I'm a cartoonist. I'm one of those professional cartoonists. I used to work with big companies like Marvel and DC Comics. Sorry. Sorry, Harper.
OK，大家好，我是 Ivan，然后呢，我是一个专业的这个漫画家，然后我跟 DC 等漫画公司都是有过合作的。
And I just wanted to say that American comic books, while they were very original and very popular, especially because of the movies, they're not number one right now. Manga, Japanese manga is the one that sells all over the world. And the beauty and power of Chinese comics is actually coming up as well, because some amazing stuff that's coming from China. And we're really happy about that.
首先呢，其实美国的漫画是很有它的区域特色，也很出名的，可以说在某种程度上是一个领先的一个地位吧。那么接下来的可能就是日本的 manga， 它也是很出名的。那么我很高兴看到说中国一些漫画的特色跟中国独有的一些漫画韵味也逐渐的展示出来了。
Yeah, my favorite genre ever since I was a child was wuxia, coming from those old kung fu movies that used to show in the theaters here.
我最喜欢的是一部叫无声的，是有一部很著名的影片有讲这个故事。
Yeah. I'm going to share the screen right now. I'm going to hopefully go to the curriculum if I can get my mouse to work properly. Here we go.
我接下来要共享屏幕了。
Here we go. So, character design. You know, the thing about characters is that you have to make them feel real to yourself. You have to make them in a basic way that you can repeat them over and over again, draw them thousands of times, and know what you're drawing.
所以说这个角色设计最重要的就是你可以真真正正的掌握他们每个人，因为你要几乎每一个人你都要重复画1000次、无数次，所以你一定要掌握他们的每个角度是怎么样的。
Right. Sometimes if a character doesn't feel right to you, if it's hard to draw, the reader's going to see that, and the reader's going to have trouble following the story as well.
所以有时候如果说你对一个角色的掌握，就是他人物设计的掌握并不熟练的话，这对你来说你是很难在后面继续重复他这个人物，而且读者也很难跟随你的脚步去适应他的变化。
Right. And I always say you have to fall in love with your characters so that you want to see them over and over again.
就是你真的要爱你的角色，这样子你就可以每一次就是你不厌其烦的看他们，创作他们。
Yeah. Now, shape language. This is something very basic when you first created characters, and this is what we teach kids: the language of shapes, of basic shapes.
接下来就是我们用到那些基础的图形，以及这图形它背后代表的一些含义，就是我们的图形语言。
Right. So, for instance, something round is very soft and squishy. It's very comfortable. So you can draw mothers, people who are chubby or cuddly, very sweet. They tend to be that way.
然后我们看到左边的这个圆形，一般你看到圆形的一个角色的时候，它给人的感觉是很柔软的，然后无害的、可接触的，而且可能是有点喜欢动摇的。 所以说你在画母亲啊或者一些甜美的角色的时候，就可以尽量的多用圆形这个形状。
Also, the square, things with big, sturdy shapes, sturdy, strong, supportive, protector, they tend to be like that. So you notice a lot of heroes' faces tend to be kind of square.
当你用到方形的时候，方形它一般展示出来的都是比较坚定的，然后可靠的，然后有一点点顽固的。
And of course, triangles, particularly when you turn it around, the point is down. It's very sharp, angular, so it's a little more dangerous. A lot of Disney villains have very triangular faces.
当你画三角形的时候，你可能就要做好准备，你描述的可能是一个比较尖锐呀，然后有活力的这种形象，就是它是比较急的一个形象，它肯定是比较有能量的。
Right, right. So I'm going to change to my screen right now, just to show you a couple of really easy examples. For instance, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use that. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, Ivan.
Yes, okay, great. Now my mouse is getting really, my computer's giving me problems today, so I'm going to, oh, sorry about that. Here we go. There we go. All right, so for instance, something round, I'm going to go to pencil. This is with faces. Something round is very cute, very supportive. A lot of mothers, you can draw that way. A lot of children tend to have rounder faces, rounder bodies, okay? And they seem very sweet, but they also seem like something you have to protect.
当你在创作母亲的角色或者可爱的小孩的角色的时候，你就可以尽量的多用圆形，他们看起来就会很甜美，很可爱，很让人有保护的欲望。
Emily, be nice. I think Emily Yang is oh, somebody else too. People are very, I know, once one person draws, everyone else wants to draw. Squares to be more supportive. And by the way, these are just kind of like assumptions and stereotypes about body types.
那方形的可能就会更加的坚强一些，但是同时我想要说，这可能也是一种偏刻板印象的说法，就是我们的这种说语言，这种图形语言，它是有一些刻板印象在的。
So while squares can be inherently male, you can actually make them very female. And there's a couple of popular cartoons that are kind of using this with their female characters as well.
所以说，你也是可以用方形来描述一个女性的，所以我自己本身我也是会这么用的。
Right. And the triangular tends to be very narrow, pointy chin. They tend to be a little bit more, I say, more delicate in nature, a little bit more tricky. You know, something like Loki in the Marvel movies.
那么这种三角形呢，我会觉得可能会更加的狡猾一些，或者说它。
But it's just again, you're playing with stereotypes. You can make heroes any type of shape you want. You can make people you have to protect any kind of shape. It depends on your style. And to tell the truth, it depends on what the people look like in your family. Because I tend to make people look like my family members because they're the persons I saw the most. It's going back, right? There we go, shape language. So again, I was just saying that the shapes are just a basic guide to kind of help you draw. It's like if you want to use stick figures, if you want to use classically drawing characters, you know, which take a lot longer, but they're very beautiful when you do it. It's all up to you and your comfort level.
像是这种基本的图形语言，只是说，如果你想画那种很典型的漫画什么，你就可以借用它。但如果你有你自己的想法，也是没有关系的。
But remember, shapes are very basic. Everyone understands them, and everyone understands the emotional connections towards the different shapes. So they really help the reader read. The reader read.
但是这种图形语言，它的好处就在于，它是一种基本算是一种我们潜意识里的 思想惯性和常识，它可以很快的让你的读者知道你想要通过这个人物表达出什么和它的特性是什么，所以说它是非常方便使用的一种东西。
So again, this is the way I do my things. I do sketches first. I play with the shapes. I play with the facial characteristics, and I start trying to understand who the character is.
然后，这就是我做的事情。我在画图的之前，我会先做个素描稿，然后，把他们的每种特性啊，尽量的都表示出来，表现在他们的脸型上等等的。
Right. So the aim of these characters is to show diversity. If you know, America has a little problem with diversity and stuff like that. So adding more characters of color in comic books is one of my aims, and this is one of the sketches I try to add to that problem or that solution. Excuse me.
那你看我这个素描，你就可以看出，其实我在上面加了很多种颜色。这种颜色其实不仅仅是我画上色的颜色，而是说在美国呢，本来就是个很多人种的国家，所以我希望我的漫画里面，它也是一个很多人种的一个漫画故事。
Yeah, it's more finished piece. Okay.
那这是它完成之后的图。
Now notice that my color palette is very bright, very fun, and it's something definitely aimed for children.
我的漫画呢是很好玩的，然后里面的东西是很多样的，就很适合小孩去读。
Yeah, remember the color is part of the comics language as well, and there's really good decisions made for what kind of colors and what kind of tones you use.
那另外呢，就是这种颜色啊，人种的颜色，还有说你自己上色的颜色，也是一种漫画语言来的。你在做决定的时候，最好是想清楚说你想用什么样的颜色表达些什么样的东西。
Right. Now the draft and the pencil drawing. Some people work from scripts first, from writing the scripts first. Some people go straight into it and draw the images first, and then they write the words afterwards. And some people do a combination.
有些人他是喜欢说他把图单一的放在一起，然后再写字；有些人他就喜欢把它们合在一块儿，这是不同的选择而已。
Yeah. So what I suggest for people who are doing it for the first time is to write yourself a basic plot, which is basically a simple explanation of the action happening in each panel.
那么我一般给人的建议啊，就是你第一次画的时候，你可以设置一个情节，在每个框架之间呢，它发生了什么，然后再去安排它的文字。
Right. Then later on, you can add the words and the dialogue.
然后接着呢，你就可以说来设置对话了。
Right. Let's see. So when I do it, I take a thumbnail. A thumbnail is a basic drawing of basically how the page is going to look, which includes composition and screenshots.
我是
That's a hard one,
可以
right?
看看图，我平时就是这样来创作的，它会包括一些瞬间的图像啊等等的。
Yeah. So the way I see comic books is like a movie, and I use a lot of film language when I draw my comics.
所以有时候我在画画的时候，我会想说，把它当做是电影的分镜创作一样，我就会经常来就表现出一些特写呀等等的，会像拍电影一样的每个镜头。
Yes. For instance, the first panel up there is kind of like a middle shot. Middle shots where you show most of the characters in screen, but not so much. And middle shot is a very comfortable way of seeing a story, especially on TV and in movies. Is a middle shot. The first panel right there. Oops, let me go like here. Can you see my arrow? And checking out where the far shot is. Is it a medium shot? Is it close up? The way they tell a story, and that's going to help you tell your own story.
所以说你可以自己再去看一些动画呀，不管是说动画片，还是说翻拍的电影，你都可以留意它是怎么布置它的长镜头、它的特写，怎么用这些画面语言来讲它的故事，然后你自己就去学，然后把它运用到你的漫画创作上。
Thank you. You're working so hard. Thank you so much. So when I do thumbnails, they're very loose sketches. Thumbnail sketches are very loose, just to place the page, put the page together, and give you an idea of how to draw it. What to do that? That's thumbnails.
我在做这个漫画创作的时候，就是你看我把它安排的都是很松弛的，我并没有说它每个地方都是放大的特写啊或者人物什么的，我也有景色，也有长镜头，也有特写镜头，所以说你是要把它们错落有致的排在一起的。
Yeah. So then I place the thumbnails on the page and I do tighter drawings, tighter pencil drawings. And I usually use a blue pencil to kind of make myself understand which is which. And you can see a little bit of the thumbnail underneath.
然后你可以看看我在右边，其实就是我放大之后的样子。我一般是喜欢用蓝笔来再上一次，来让我自己更清楚说，哪个角色是哪个角色，让我能够把他们把他们挑出来。
Right. These pencils are where the story really comes together for you and kind of makes you feel it and feel all the emotions that you need to tell the story.
像是用铅笔啊这种带颜色的，然后给人一种紧凑感的这种上色呢，可以让你感受到你整个漫画它给人的氛围是怎样的。像是我们能看到最右边的氛围可能就是比较沉重的。
Right. So this story I've been working on for a few years, and it's a story of the Tainos, which were the indigenous people of the Caribbean, from which my family comes from.
我这则故事讲述的是我的家乡的人们的故事，所以你可以看到氛围可能不是特别好，它是比较真实的一则故事。
Right. And it's very personal, and so, what happens to the characters is going to be very painful. And I just want you to warn you that when you do your characters and you get in there and you're telling a story, sometimes emotions are very strong.
就是说你可以看出来我的这种笔触，你应该能感觉到我要写的是一个很沉重的故事，那我的主角他也会经历很大的悲痛。那我想提醒的是，当你真正的做这件事情，你了解这个主角，你在讲故事的时候，他给你带来的情绪也是很剧烈、很沉重的。
The same is true with comedy. You want to make yourself laugh. The same is true with horror stories. You want to scare yourself. Yeah.
当你在写喜剧的时候，你首先要让自己笑出来，但是在你写悲痛的故事的时候，你可能也会首先吓到的是你自己。
And if you're drawing a story to educate, you want to learn, you want to feel like you're learning something, or you want to feel like this will make my children learn something new that I want them to know.
那你在写一个故事，你想在你写个故事，就是你想要教会别人什么的时候，你脑子的想法应该是说你从中学到了什么，或者是说你希望你未来的孩子能从中学到什么。
Right. Okay. So then I ink it. So another layer, I ink it. Now this is all digital. Many people do this with paper and pen, which is the classical traditional sense. But luckily, I figured out the software, and it really helps me.
这些全都是我用电子版做出来的。很多人他是习惯用传统的纸和笔啊，我之前也是这样，但是我后来发现很多的软件真的帮了我很大的忙，所以我是用电子版做出来的。
Thank you. I'm trying to get Xingyan inside. Hold on a second. Let's go down. So this is more the panel placing. This is more towards its finished. I have not placed the balloons yet for the dialogue or the sound effects. No colors yet, but this is basically the finished inks.
这是我最后上墨之后的样子。我没有给它上色啊，也没有什么的，就只是为它上了一层墨而已。
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions so far? It's a lot.
目前为止有人有什么其他的问题吗
Evan, let's go to the end. We'll ask questions at the end.
Okay, let's go down. 1 second. Okay, here we go. So inking, this is more of like a basic social service comics. This is about Alzheimer's, dementia, which is happening a lot in this country. I'm sure it's happening all over the world. And many people when it happens to their family member, they really don't know what to do, and these comic books help them find the first step.
那么第一步就是我说这个上墨呢，它是可以让一个漫画更加栩栩如生的。当你在讲一个现代故事的时候，肯定有很多家庭成员在，你可能会有些手足无措，不知道该怎么去表达他们，不知道该怎么去刻画他们。那你就可以参考我的这个做法，看我 PPT 上的展示。
Now, this is a collaboration where someone else who's working for the dementia company is writing the story. Collaborations can be beautiful, beautiful things. Partnerships can be great. Some person who writes better can help a person who draws better, and really good things can happen with collaborations.
像这种不同元素啊，大家在一起的这种什么叫融合，它是能够很方便你去叙述故事的，尤其是你以后可能会有机会跟一些公司合作啊，或者你要讲一系列的故事的时候，这个就能够把故事表达得很完整，特别好。
Yeah. And color is also its own palette, its own kind of language, which can be very useful in setting mood and tone for the book and the story.
那接下来就是一个上色的问题，这种颜色的选择，它其实也是一种风格的定调，一种气氛，就是你选择什么颜色，你就决定了他这个人带给读者是什么样的感觉，它也是很重要的。
As you can see, I am very terrible at drawing backgrounds and furniture, but the colors can help hide that, some of your flaws.
然后你可以看到说，我用了很多的颜色，然后特别是我的这个背景是用了蓝色的，所以就可以方便你找到每一个角色，让他们区分开来。
Right. Oh, I think that's yours, Ram. So if you notice, you put the characters together. People do model sheets. Model sheets is basically you decide on the character and you draw the character at a few different views, and that's your document. That's for your character, so you can refer to it anytime you get kind of lost or want to like work a continuity.
很多人他会画一个模型板。这什么叫模型板呢？就是你把每一个角色都列出来，然后把它的前后左右全都画出来，就当做一个小册子一样。然后在你后面想要再描述这个角色的时候，你就看回这个模型板，看你当初给他的设计是怎么样的，然后再也不是原封不动，但就是再按你的原图，然后再放在你的这个角色设计，就是你准备要展开的故事情节上，就会有个模型板先在一个全方位的图。
Right. So these model sheets are very useful because you can use them to sell to other companies. You can use them to kind of push your product. You can also have different artists share the same look when they have the same model sheets.
这个模型板就非常有用。首先，你可以在之后无限的用到它。另外，你也可以用它来作为你的人物模型啊，在你去跟其他的公司合作的时候，给他们看你这个模型板是怎样的，他就知道你这个漫画之后的走向会怎么样，然后怎么做人物设计。
Yeah, this is definitely a mainstay for animation, which really needs so many people, so many different people to draw the same character that they need these model sheets.
这是很重要的，对于一种动画创作来说，基本上每一个画动画的人，他都会有一个模型板，他都有他自己的模型板的。
Yeah. See that? Also, skin tones are very important. Now, this is a recent thing because back in America, we usually a very simple process before. So everyone had the same skin tone, and that usually was closer to my skin tone or Caucasian white. Now that there's more diversity and there's more tones, people can actually play with different skin colors, which is a very important thing. And I'm sure there are different skin tones in China as well, and that's an important tool for creating diversity in your own books.
以前美国的时候，他可能对于一些肤色的选择比较少，但现在随着这种观念的革新啊，我们就有很多的肤色人种可以选择来创作。好像我们图画上的，就是我们经典的在美国创作漫画时我们会选用的人种肤色。那我相信在中国肯定也是有不同的类型可以让你选择的，就是说你是有这么几个基础的肤色，能让你做原型去选择和创作。
So we're coming to the very end. This is the comic book that had those character sheets before another comic book series I created called Jupiter Invincible.
这是我创作的另一个系列的漫画，它叫做《无可战胜的朱比特》。
So let's take questions now. I'm going to stop sharing. And if you want to ask any questions, just turn your video on and we'll answer.
接下来我们就是一个提问环节，如果你想提问的话，你就直接打开你的视频，然后打开你的麦克风就好了。
Or if you don't want to turn your video on, just turn your audio on. And you can ask in Chinese and Harper will translate.
就是如果你想说，或者你不想开视频的话，你就打开麦克风就好了。如果你是只会说中文的话，那你就说出来，然后我帮你翻译。没啥问题，等一下。Xiao Chen has asked a question she asked if we gonna design a character like a monster or a creepy guy, should we love him or not? You said that we should fall in love with our character, but someone creepy or someone disgusting, we just don't like them.
Can I take that, man? I think that if they're scary, the more you're gonna love them. Because they're useful. These characters are useful, they're scary, that power, even though they're doing terrible things, every bad character, even monsters, they think they're the hero in their lives. So you have to kind of think about them and what's going on in their brain and fall in love with the way they're thinking.
这个回答是这样的，说真的，就是这种角色，对于一个上帝视角来说，他可能是很恶心的，或者说很不好的。但是你在创作的时候，你要站在他的角度去想，在这个怪物、这个恶心的角色的世界里，他一定是世界上最厉害的人。你要从他的角度去想，然后去思考他是怎么思考的，然后去爱上他的思维模式，然后再来创作这个人物。
Like Dracula,
就是你还是要爱他。
If anybody knows Dracula, he's very popular in the West. He's a vampire with long teeth, and he kills a lot of people. He drinks their blood. Well, he thinks that that's his food, and should be able to eat. And you kind of have to understand that to kind of enjoy that character.
Yeah. 就比如说你在设计吸血鬼的时候，就有很长的疗愈啊，然后他会喝所有人的血啊，他杀所有人。那这对于人类来说，他当然是个不好的角色，但在他的世界里，他就应该这样的，他就是应该要吃人的。所以呢，这是个角度的问题，就是心理角度的问题。
Isabella?
Question.
He or she said, "Thank you. You are so cute."
So I have some question to ask. Thanks for sharing, and also thanks for translating. So my question is more technical. What kind of software do you use when you create these sketches and also the character books? And also, do you draw your own panel, or they are actually softwares you can actually download to do that? And also, my second question is, do you draw over your sketches, or you actually, when you do the real, I don't know how to call that, like the finished draft, do you start a new file?
Right. I use for myself, I'm sure Ram uses.
Sorry, you might want the translator to translate.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
I can say that I can translate that into Chinese.
Yeah. Please.
我的第一个问题是，就是他们用什么软件来做这个漫画？ 还有就是他们的那个对话框是用设定的软件吗？第二个是他们是要在原图上画呢，还是要重新开一个文件来画？OK，thank you.
Thanks. Personally, I use Clip Studio, which is a very reasonably priced software, and that helps me do the panels. That helps me use layers. So I do the sketches, the loose sketches. I'll scan them. I'll blow them up to fit the proportion of the page, and then I'll do layers. I'll draw on top of the layers. I don't know if people use software, but there are different layers where you can put different pieces of art. And little by little, I build it. Like I do the pencils, and then I do the inks on another layer. There are other programs that they're very easy. I think there's there's Medibank Pro, Photoshop is one of the basic ones. But for they will show you how to do the panels as well. There's a tool there that's really beautiful, and it saved me so many hours, where they'll just place the panels the way you want to. You just go like this, it'll make a box, it'll divide it the way you want to. The same thing with dialogue balloons. They have a tool for dialogue balloons, for word balloons. Let me stop there. That's a lot.
If you're using an
Sorry,
iPad,
I'll do it slowly. Clip Studio and Medibank Pro. There are many softwares out there. Some you can get for free. I think you can now do stuff on even a Procreate on the iPad, which will help you draw and make panels. Layers. Yeah.
There are some like technical terms
I know,
as the software. Yeah, maybe you can send this like software in our chat box, and
Yeah.
maybe they know that. Yeah.
Right. And also there are many tutorials on YouTube that'll teach you how to use the software. I don't know if you guys have
我让老师尽量把这些软件发到我们的聊天框里，到时候大家可以接收一下。然后他刚刚也提到说，在 YouTube 等社交平台上都是有很多视频来教你是怎么用这些软件的。
左转就是南北，这就上高架了，是吧？
这是那个内环高架，
南北高架，我不知道怎么来，应该不是吧？
这是中山南路。
did Isabella want to say something?
南北高架，然后是拐过去那排。
No, chatting.
I want to ask you a question. What can we do if we don't know what will happen to the character we are creating?
That's very good. Outline. You need to do outline first. Beginning, middle, end. Very basic outline. Harper.
就是第二个提问就是说，如果我们不知道我们的角色他的走向该怎么办？
Right. So in the beginning, you put where the character is. You write yourself a sentence. Okay, character starts out on Earth in a small town. Second, character goes on his journey, fights many monsters. Third, character either ends up dead or character ends up married to the monster at the last panel. That kind of thing.
就是说你要做个大纲，可能说第一条他会说，这个主角他在地球上的某个小镇啊出生了，然后呢他要去旅游，他要开启他的征程，可能去打怪去了，这是第二条。那么第三条你就要写他的结局，他是死于怪兽的手下呢，还是说他跟谁结婚了呢？就是你要有一个大纲列出来。
Right. So it's like beginning, middle, end, very basic, and then you figure out the story to get from one place to another.
那么所以说你有一个故事的开头、中间和结尾这种基本的一个走向，那你就知道他可能每个人每个句子该怎么走了。
And many times the journey, when you write, everything changes little by little, and the ending is totally different from what you thought of in the beginning.
那很多时候就是在这个人物他的征程中，你可能每个细节，你偶尔想法的改变，一点的变化，导致他最后整个结局就跟你开头设定的是不一样的。
And when that happens, that means the story is really good.
如果你真的是到了这样的一天，说明你的故事真的是诠述的很精彩。
Okay.
Thank you. I know what you mean. Just like what happened to the character, and the reader wouldn't know what will happen.
Yeah. You know, there's this thing called the hero's journey. If you read about the hero's journey, it's a way of storytelling that uses heroes, and it goes from beginning, middle to end. You'll notice that a lot of the stories follow the hero's journey. So I would read that and see if that helps you forming your stories.
有一个东西叫英雄的征程，然后里面会有说，可能一个英雄他在一路上他会遇到什么样的困难啊什么的，我自己也会去看这个东西，然后来从中寻找灵感。
There you go. It's very important.
It's a book written by Joseph Campbell, who wrote about mythology, and there should be translations in Chinese.
There's many YouTube videos about it too. Very short descriptions that might help a lot.
Let her translate.
这个是一本书来的，它可能会有中文的译文，但是可以确定的是，它在网站上是有很多相关视频可以去寻找到的。
And if you've seen the movie Star Wars is very much based on this book, The Hero's Journey.
如果你看过《星球大战》的话，你可能会对它有所了解，哪怕你不知道什么叫英雄的征程，因为英雄就是《星球大战》是大概上啊都是跟着这个思路来走的。
And of course, this hero's journey is based. He took it from many legends and stories that have been told throughout times in different countries. He just learned that that's the structure that most people use.
这个《英雄的征程》这本书啊，它是结合了不同国家、不同英雄、不同故事，它背后的就是它把那些逻辑啊都总结出来、提炼出来，最后做的一本书。
Well,
People quiet now. What is your favorite manhwa? What is your favorite manhwa that you enjoy? If anybody
你们最喜欢的漫画是什么呢？可以分享一下。
put in the chat if you want.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'll do Google Translate.
Bleach, Peanuts, JoJo, Watchmen. What's a very popular comic book series in China?
中国最好的系列漫画是什么呢？大家可以回答一下。
Is Master's Q going on? From Hong Kong? Dragon's Gate? I think Tony Wong.
There's some translations and there's some stuff written in
very nice.
Mandarin Chinese, probably to translate. But...
Batman.
They are sharing they are sharing in our chat box.
I see, very nice. Iron Man.
Well, good. There's a lot. I see a lot of people writing a lot.
Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. Wow. I really want to see that one. Dr. Breeze. Very cool. Okay. Do people read Japanese comics in China? Like manga? Ah, very cool. Attack on Titan.
Yes.
Saint Seiya, yeah.
Well, we are working on our own comic book series in China with the Chinese Women's Film Festival and the U.S. Embassy, and hope to have that out in October.
It's a really good story too. It's wonderful.